Merry Christmas, little fella. We know that you're in there and that you're all alone.
Yeah, come on, kid, open up. It's Santa Claus. And it's Elf.
We're not gonna hurt you.
No. Got some nice presents for you.
Be a good little fella now and open the door.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of RT Essentials. I'm Mark Ellis. Today we're diving into the world of classic family movies. Ones that not only bring the whole family together, but they are certified classics in their own right as well. And we don't just toss around the word classic all willy-nilly. These are films that are timeless, rewatchable, and important parts of film history and or popular culture. Our buffer for the films goes up to the 2000s because, let's be honest, classic movies need to simmer. And in an attempt to save a few breaths along the way, some of these movies go in the way back machine. They're all certified fresh, and we're pretty much all selected for the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress. Okay, our list of all-time family movies starts right now. The Wizard of Oz.
And as for you, my fine lady, it's true, I can't attend you here and now as I'd like, but just try to stay out of my way. Just try. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
And clicking its heel together 3 times to get this list started is 1939's The Wizard of Oz. This is an adaptation of L. Frank Baum's children's fantasy novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, first published in 1900. The film stars Judy Garland as young Dorothy Gale, who, along with her trusty dog Toto, is carried away by a tornado from her Kansas farm to the magical land of Oz. There, she embarks on a journey with 3 new friends to find the wizard who can get her back home. A role that had a few candidates, including the biggest child star of all time, Shirley Temple, and newcomer Deanna Durbin, one of the best-known singers of the era. Along with the cast, the film generated plenty of interest due to its use of Technicolor, which caused many filmmakers to spend way too much time trying to find just the right shade of yellow for that famous brick road. But for that, we should all pay them homage.
You cursed brat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world! Who would have thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness? Ah, look out! Look out! I'm going!
That led to an Academy Award nomination for Best Art Direction to go with nominations for Best Effects and Best Picture. Where the film really excelled with fans, and won 2 Oscars for, was the music, picking up Best Original Score and Best Original Song for Over the Rainbow. Wait, you all want to sing it along? No, just me? Alright, I'll keep it to myself. Despite its critical success, The Wizard of Oz wasn't immediately profitable, but all that changed with a lucrative re-release in theaters a decade later. That was followed by the 1956 television premiere on CBS. And from there, that medium has continued to introduce this movie to new generations in the decade since, ultimately being declared by the Library of Congress as the most seen film in movie history. That's what you call a mic drop. Mary Poppins.
It's her. It's the person. She's answered our advertisement. Rosy cheeks and everything.
Ellen, you may now show them in, one at a time.
Yes, sir.
You may come in one at a time.
Thank you.
Popping up next on this list is 1964's Mary Poppins. This film was directed by Robert Stevenson and produced by Walt Disney, and is based on the series of 8 Mary Poppins children's books by P.L. Travers, which began publishing in 1934. Julie Andrews stars as the titular character, a magical nanny in turn-of-the-century London who uses her unique ways to help a family improve its dynamic and relationships. While Mary Poppins has become an all-time classic family movie over the years, it was also a family affair from the get-go. Because it was Walt Disney's daughters, who were fans of the book, they made him promise to do a movie about them. That's some good thinking, girls. Star Andrews would become a household name for more than one classic family flick, but this actually marked her feature film debut. She beat out stars like Angela Lansbury and Bette Davis, who are also being considered.
You see, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun, and snap! The job's a game.
Mary Poppins became the highest-grossing film of 1964, and at the time of its release, was Disney's highest-grossing film ever. It also received 13 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, and it won 5, including Best Actress for Julie Andrews. Add all that up, and that's why this is considered the crowning achievement in live action for Walt Disney. Whereas his crowning achievement in theme park rides has got to be Space Mountain, right? Yeah, I'll die on that hill. And along with being a classic, the legacy for this one includes 2013's Saving Mr. Banks, a biographical drama on the making of this film, and a sequel, Mary Poppins Returns, which came out in 2018 with Emily Blunt as Mary. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
It's his stomach that's done that.
He's blocking all the chocolate.
Oh, what happens now? Eh?
Oh, the pressure will get him out. Terrific pressure is building up behind the blockage.
Oh, yes. I wonder how long it's going to take him to push through.
The suspense is terrible.
He's going to go this time.
I hope it'll last.
Sweetening things up next on this list is 1971's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The film is directed by Mel Stewart and adapted from Roald Dahl's 1964 novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It stars Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka and tells the story of a poor child named Charlie who, after finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, visits Willy Wonka's chocolate factory along with 4 other children from around the world. One big reason Willy Wonka has landed on this list is because of the reactions it elicits from kids and parents alike. And that was helped along by the fact that, for instance, none of the actors were told that Willy Wonka would go from a limp into a somersault during his entrance at the factory gates, catching genuine surprise on camera.
Dessert? Here it comes. Blueberry pie and cream. It's the most marvelous blueberry pie I've ever tasted.
Holy Toledo, what's happening to your face?
Cool it, Dad. Let me finish.
Yeah, but your face is turning blue. Violet, you're turning violet, Violet.
What are you talking about?
I told you I hadn't got it quite right yet.
Plus, none of the child actors were allowed to see the chocolate room set until the day of the shoot. And now I'm already craving a chocolate room. And they weren't warned about the tunnel boat ride scene, providing a good old-fashioned scary moment for everyone involved. And much like a few films on today's list, the music also helped bring the whole family together. It was Oscar nominated for Best Original Score and introduced by the song The Candyman, which was recorded by Sammy Davis Jr. for the soundtrack and became his only #1 hit. But believe it or not, despite all that and premiering on TV on Thanksgiving in 1974, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory remained a bit of an obscurity until repeated TV airings began in the 1980s. The Princess Bride.
You never say anything about killing anyone.
I've hired you to help me start a war. It's a prestigious line of work with a long and glorious tradition.
I just don't think it's right, killing an innocent girl.
Am I going mad? Or did the word think escape your lips? You were not hired for your brains, you hippopotamic landmass.
Walking down the aisle to this next spot on the list is 1987's The Princess Bride. The film is directed and co-produced by Rob Reiner and written by William Goldman, adapted from his 1973 novel of the same name, which has its own loyal audience, just like the movie. This fairy tale adventure is about a farm boy turned pirate, played by Cary Elwes, who's trying to reunite with his one true love, played by Robin Wright, while encountering various enemies and other obstacles along the journey. Pulling off this adaptation and turning it into a full-on family classic was no easy task, which began with getting the project off the ground. Before Reiner was able to pull it off, other directors attempted to adapt the novel, including Francois Truffaut, Robert Redford, and Norman Jewison.
Trying to trick me into giving away something. It won't work.
It has worked. You've given everything away. I know where the poison is.
Then make your choice.
I will. And I choose. What in the world can that be?
What? Where? I don't see anything.
Oh, well, I could have sworn I saw something. No matter.
The Princess Bride did just okay at the box office initially, but through VHS and eventually DVD rentals, along with TV airings, it went on to become a cult film that is considered one of the best of the decade. This movie won the 1988 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation and picked up an Oscar nomination for, Best Original Song. It was Storybook Love, produced by Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits, who also composed the film's score. It always comes back to music with the family flicks. Talks of a remake popped up in 2019, and fans didn't react well on social media. Elwes later said in their defense, "There's a shortage of perfect movies in this world. It would be a pity to damage this one." Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I can give you stars! Just drop the refrigerator in my head one more time!
Roger, I got it on your head 23 times already.
I can take it, don't worry about me!
I'm not worried about you, I'm worried about the refrigerator.
I can give you stars! Look! Look! Look!
Next up on our list of all-time classic family movies is 1988's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This live-action animation hybrid was directed by Robert Zemeckis and loosely adapted from Gary K. Wolfe's 1981 novel, Who Censored Roger Rabbit? The film is set in a 1947 version of Hollywood where people coexist with cartoon characters, or toons, and it stars Bob Hoskins as a private investigator who tries to help exonerate Roger Rabbit, a toon who's been framed for murder. One of the biggest ways this movie helped bring the whole family together and build its status as a classic in the process is by incorporating and referencing so many classic cartoon characters. And this was achieved through the help of Steven Spielberg, who served as a producer through his Amblin Entertainment banner. He was able to convince Warner Brothers and multiple other studios to let their characters be in this film, resulting in things like Donald Duck and Daffy Duck appearing together, and Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny also sharing a scene.
I've worked with a lot of wisecrackers, but you are despicable. This is the last time I work with someone with a speech impediment. This means war.
Plus, Who Framed Roger Rabbit has been credited for bringing a renewed interest in the golden age of animation and even spearheading a bit of an animation renaissance. The film ended up grossing over $350 million worldwide, becoming the second highest grossing of 1988 behind Rain Man. It received a ton of worthy praise for its performances, writing, and humor, just the right mix for kids and adults, to go along with all kinds of love for its visuals, with many fans and critics using the term groundbreaking. That was backed up by an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, to go along with 2 more for Best Film Editing and Best Sound Effects Editing. Plus, it made everyone wish we could be friends with a toon, right? I'll take Baby Herman. Home Alone.
I'm up here, you morons! Come and get me! You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Heads up! Don't worry, Marv, I'll get him for you.
And not getting left behind on this list is 1990's Home Alone. The film was directed by Chris Columbus a couple years after making his debut with Adventures in Babysitting. It stars Macaulay Culkin as a boy who is accidentally left behind when his family heads to the airport in a hurry, leaving him to protect a big empty house from 2 burglars who've been casing the neighborhood. And if you want to know how Home Alone became an all-time classic, look no further than writer John Hughes, who also wrote another holiday classic in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation the year prior. Hughes, who conceived the film while preparing for vacation and wondered what happened if he left his son behind, suggested that they cast Culkin after his experience with the actor on Uncle Buck. But to give the screenplay that added layer and really put it over the edge in appealing to all sensibilities, Chris Columbus did an uncredited rewrite to add in the Old Man Marley character and give the story a more emotional ending, a stroke of genius.
Hey guys, check this out.
Oh, go back! Oh, go back! Go back! Okay.
Home Alone grossed nearly $477 million around the world to become the second highest grossing film of the year behind Ghost and the highest grossing live-action comedy ever until the release of The Hangover Part 2 took its place in 2011. On top of that, it solidified Culkin as a child star, complete with a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy. Plus, it earned 2 Oscar noms for Best Original Score, shout out to the maestro John Williams, and Best Original Song for Somewhere in My Memory. But most importantly, this film is on pretty much everyone's short list of what to watch during the holiday season, a tradition that has proven to span multiple generations to this day. Cool Running.
See you at the finish line.
With the kinds of push starts these guys are capable of, we might actually see the Jamaicans win an Olympic medal. So this is it. We could see history in the making.
Feel the rhythm! Feel the rhyme! Get on up! It's bobsled time!
Competing for the gold medal on this list is 1993's Cool Runnings. The film is directed by John Turteltaub, who's also done movies like 3 Ninjas and National Treasure. It's loosely based on the true story of the Jamaica national bobsled team's debut in competition during the 1988 Winter Olympics. In it, 4 Jamaican bobsledders who've never even set foot in snow before enlist the help of a disgraced former champion who is desperate to redeem himself, played by John Candy, to try and fulfill their Olympic dreams. There's plenty of reasons Cool Runnings has found its way onto this list, one of which being that it was originally intended to have been a serious sports drama before it eventually evolved into a comedy. Would it have worked as a drama? I mean, probably, but it would have become an all-time classic? I'm not so sure. The film's soundtrack also seemed to move the needle for people, especially its inclusion of Jimmy Cliff's cover of I Can See Clearly Now, which reached the top 40 as a single in the United States and elsewhere, and helped keep the film in the ethos.
I see pride. Can't hear you. I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off of nobody. Once again. I see pride. Junior. I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off of nobody. That's right. Junior Bevel. Where are you going?
The cast has also been a big reason for the long-standing success of Cool Runnings. And while guys like Dougie Doug and Leon give memorable performances, it was a pretty special one from John Candy, who you'll also see in Home Alone. Kurt Russell and Scott Glenn were both reportedly considered for the role of Coach Blitzer, but Candy insisted on the role and agreed to take a pay cut to do the film. It ended up marking the final film to be released before his death 5 months later. The film did perform well at the box office, pulling in nearly $155 million worldwide, with Richard Harrington of the Washington Post calling it a wholesome, engaging, frequently hilarious, ultimately inspirational film. Toy Story.
What are you trying to pull? Nothing.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Murderer! No, murdering dog!
Not what you think, I swear!
Save it for the jury. I hope Sid pulls your voice box out, you creep.
No, don't leave! You gotta help us, Blitz! You don't know what it's like!
Come on, let's get out of here.
Go back to your lives, citizens.
Coming to life next on this list is 1995's Toy Story. Directed by John Lasseter in his directorial debut, this was the first computer-animated feature film and the first full-length offering from Pixar Animation Studios. It features the voices of Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Don Rickles, to name a very few, and takes place in a world where toys come to life when humans are not present. Now, there's a few big reasons this animated film has found itself on a list of classic family movies and not classic kids movies, and that starts with a script. When Disney approached Pixar about doing a feature film, both sides agreed they wanted the tone to be edgier than what Disney was known for in the animated space at the time. So much so, that production was even halted and the script was rewritten at one point.
From now on, you must take good care of your toys, because if you don't, we'll find out, Sid. We toys can see everything.
So play nice.
We get it! We said it! Yes!
And to add the perfect touch on top of a great cast, story, and script was an original score by Randy Newman, who has continued to lend his iconic sound to every film of the franchise. Toy Story dominated at the box office with over $373 million worldwide as one of the top grossing films of the year. It also received Academy Award nominations for Best Original Screenplay and Best Original Song for, are you singing it to yourself yet? You've Got a Friend in Me. The latter of which would somehow lose to Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas, and I'm only telling you this because it seems like maybe they got that one wrong in hindsight. I don't know, I'm Monday morning quarterback. This is considered by fans and critics to be one of the best animated films ever, so it's no surprise that a multimedia franchise was born not long after. You got your 3 sequels, a 3D re-release, and a spin-off film later, and we're still cooking today. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
I am.
Well, of course you are. Got something for you. Afraid I may have sat on it at some point, but I imagine it'll taste fine just the same. Baked it myself, words and all.
Thank you.
It's not every day your young man turns 11 now, is it? Hey?
Bringing some wizardry to this list next is 2001, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The film is based on J.K. Rowling's 1997 novel of the same name and marks the first installment of the Harry Potter film series. It stars Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter and follows his first year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry as he discovers that he is a famous wizard and begins his formal wizarding education. Now, part of what makes this movie what it is, in this case an all-time family classic, is what it isn't. Meaning, at one point during development, Steven Spielberg reportedly showed interest in adapting this as an animated film, with Haley Joel Osment providing Harry's voice. There was also talk later down the road about incorporating elements from multiple books into one film due to concerns over the child actors aging too quickly, but J.K. Rowling denied all of the above.
Do something! Whoa! Anything! Hurry up!
Swish and flick.
Wingardium Leviosa!
Cool.
She's also the one who insisted on an all-British cast like Rupert Grint and Emma Watson to go along with Radcliffe. And she handpicked Alan Rickman to play Snape, giving him details about the character that nobody else would know right up until the final novel. In the end, The Sorcerer's Stone was a massive hit, earning nearly $1 billion during its initial run, good enough to be the highest-grossing film of the year and second highest-grossing film ever at that time. The movie also racked up 3 Academy Award nominations and was followed by 7 sequels, not to mention a full-on franchise, complete with all the possible merchandise you can think of. I'm saying this as a guy who's drank many butterbeers himself. School of Rock.
And there used to be a way to stick it to the man. It was called rock and roll. But guess what? Oh no. The man ruined that too with a little thing called MTV! So don't waste your time trying to make anything cool or pure or awesome, because the man's just gonna call you a fat, washed-up loser and crush your soul. So do yourselves a favor and just give up!
And the final installment on this list of all-time classic family movies is 2003's School of Rock. The film was directed by Richard Linklater, known for films like Dazed and Confused and later Boyhood, and was written by Mike White, who more recently created the hit HBO miniseries The White Lotus. This one stars Jack Black as enthusiastic guitarist Dewey, who poses as a substitute teacher after he's thrown out of his bar band and turns his students on to the rock gods he idolizes, getting them in touch with their inner rock and roll personas and entering a local Battle of the Bands competition. One huge reason for this film's classic family status is Jack Black, who's also in a real band called Tenacious D, and everything that he brought to that role. He played much of his own guitar in the film. He worked a stage dive gone wrong into one scene after seeing the Cult's Ian Astbury try a similar move, and he was honored with an MTV Movie Award for Best Comedic Performance for his efforts. School of Rock also introduced a handful of young stars, including Miranda Cosgrove in her first film role.
You're the worst teacher I've ever had.
Summer, that is great. I like the delivery because I felt your anger.
Thank you.
You're a fat loser and you have body odor.
All right. All right. Now is everyone nice and pissed off?
Yeah!
Good. Time to write a rock song. Now what makes you mad more than anything in the world? Billy.
You.
Billy, we've already told me off. Let's move on.
You're tacky and I hate you.
But since she can actually sing in real life, she had to take a bad singing lesson from a scene in which she sings horribly. I mean, the things that we do for our art. The film went on to gross $131 million worldwide and marked the highest grossing music-themed comedy of all time until it was dethroned finally by Pitch Perfect 2 in 2015. And the legacy for this one has been impressive. Along with helping to ignite a new generation of young musicians in less traditional settings, there was also a stage musical adaptation of the film that opened on Broadway in December of 2015. The film also spawned a television adaptation that premiered on Nickelodeon on March 12, 2016 and ran for 3 seasons. Well, that's it, our list of all-time classic family movies. Tell us which one is your favorite, and is there one that you think we left off, like The Adventures of Milo and Otis? Let us know right now. And remember, the good thing about a great classic family movie is that even if your family can be annoying, at least y'all got a good movie to watch. Thanks for tuning in to RT Essentials. I'm your host, Mark Ellis, and an all-time classic family member to my parents and siblings. Right, Mom?